Hi everyone, and welcome to Pharmacy Review, your go-to channel for clear, concise, and actionable insights into pharmacy regulations, compliance, and best practices. Today, we're diving into the hot topic of Utah pharmacists' rights and pharmacist prescribing for 2025. From recent updates on prescribing authority to understanding your rights as a licensed pharmacist in Utah, we'll unpack everything you need to know and simplify it so you can focus on what really matters: providing exceptional patient care. Whether you're a pharmacist, pharmacy student, or someone curious about pharmacy compliance, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. Now, let's get started and explore the evolving landscape of pharmacist rights and prescribing in Utah for 2025. Disclaimer: this channel provides educational content on pharmacy law, summarized by artificial intelligence. While efforts are made to ensure accuracy, information presented here may not be comprehensive or up to date with the latest legal developments. This content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Viewers should consult a licensed attorney or qualified professional for specific guidance related to pharmacy law and regulations. The creators of this channel are not liable for any actions taken based on the information provided. Always verify details with authoritative sources such as government regulations, professional organizations, or legal experts. Section 6. Pharmacists' rights. Now, let's discuss pharmacists' rights, specifically the right to refuse to fill prescriptions in the state of Utah. This topic addresses a complex intersection of law, ethics, professional responsibility, and personal belief. As pharmacists, we're tasked with ensuring patient access to medications while also practicing within the bounds of our clinical judgment and, in some cases, our moral or religious convictions. But what does Utah law say about this? Let's break it down. Can pharmacists refuse to fill a valid prescription? Here's the key point. Utah law does not explicitly state whether pharmacists may refuse to fill a valid prescription on the basis of personal, religious, or professional objections. That means there is no specific statute or administrative rule in Utah that provides a clear yes or no answer. As a result, pharmacists must use discretion, informed by professional standards, workplace policies, federal civil rights protections, and case-by-case clinical judgment. This ambiguity places significant importance on the professional responsibility and documentation practices of the pharmacist involved. Under what circumstances might refusal be justified? Even though Utah law doesn't lay out a refusal clause, there are common, professionally accepted reasons a pharmacist may legitimately refuse to fill a prescription, such as suspected prescription fraud or forgery, concern for patient safety, such as drug interactions or therapeutic duplications, medication errors, including incorrect dosage or directions, concerns about abuse or misuse, especially with narcotics or controlled substances. In all these cases, the pharmacist is expected to document the refusal and make reasonable efforts to resolve the issue with the prescriber or patient. What about refusal based on religious or moral objection? Again, Utah does not explicitly address this in law. However, under federal law, specifically Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, employers are generally required to make reasonable accommodations for an employee's religious beliefs, including refusal to participate in certain tasks, so long as it does not impose an undue hardship on the business. In practice, this means a pharmacist may be able to refuse to dispense medications like contraceptives or emergency contraception on religious grounds, but this typically depends on employer policies, availability of alternative staff, impact on patient care. Many pharmacies have protocols in place to ensure that a patient can still receive care from another pharmacist or nearby pharmacy if one employee refuses. What actions can be taken against a pharmacist's license for refusal? If a pharmacist refuses to fill a prescription without clinical justification or documentation, and the refusal results in harm, denial of care, or a complaint, the pharmacist may be subject to disciplinary action by the Utah Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing, DOPL. Possible consequences include formal investigation, monetary penalties, probation, suspension, or revocation of license. So while refusal is possible in certain situations, it must be handled with great care, professionalism, and documentation. Is there an appeals process? Yes. Like all disciplinary actions handled by DOPL, a pharmacist has the right to appeal any action taken against their license. This process typically involves written notification of the violation and proposed sanctions, an opportunity for the pharmacist to respond or request a hearing, a formal administrative hearing where evidence can be presented, the potential for judicial review if the pharmacist disagrees with the outcome. Appeals must follow the procedures outlined in Utah's Administrative Procedures Act, and pharmacists are advised to seek legal counsel when navigating disciplinary matters. Pharmacist prescribing. Thanks to Section 58-17B-627 and the associated operating standards in Rule R156-17B 627, licensed pharmacists practicing in Class A and Class B pharmacies now have limited independent prescribing authority for select medications and devices, empowering pharmacists to fill critical gaps in care and expand patient access to treatment. Let's break down exactly what this means and how to do it compliantly. Who can prescribe? Pharmacists who are licensed in Utah, practice in a Class A or Class B pharmacy. These pharmacists may prescribe certain prescription drugs or devices under specific guidance documents adopted by the Utah Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing, DOPL, in collaboration with the Board of Pharmacy and the Utah Department of Health. Patient assessment requirements. Before issuing any prescription, the pharmacist must perform a thorough patient assessment, including current health status, past medical history, known allergies, medication sensitivities, current medications, rationale for care, why does the patient need this? An evaluation of whether the patient should be referred to another healthcare provider. This isn't just a checklist, it's a clinical interview and documentation process designed to ensure the patient is an appropriate candidate for pharmacist-prescribed therapy. Clinical guidelines for prescribing. All prescribing must follow evidence-based guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), nationally accepted guidelines, e.g., ACOG, USPSTF, Utah Department of Health, in partnership with DOPL and the board. Prescribing pharmacists must adhere to these approved guidance documents, which include pre-exposure and post-exposure prophylaxis for HIV, PrEP, and PEP, self-administered hormonal contraceptives, tobacco cessation products, naloxone for opioid overdose reversal. These documents are publicly available on the DOPL pharmacy page and must be followed exactly. Dispensing and documentation requirements. Pharmacists must comply with all general requirements for dispensing and prescription record-keeping under 58-17B-602, prescription orders, required information. 58-17B-609, limitations and conditions on prescriptions. In other words, pharmacist-issued prescriptions must meet the same legal and documentation standards as those from any prescriber. Follow-up care plan. After prescribing, the pharmacist must develop a follow-up care plan, which includes monitoring parameters for clinical efficacy, safety and adverse reactions, referral to medical care when necessary. Follow-up care isn't optional. It ensures continuity, safety, and therapeutic success. Notifying the primary care provider. Within 5 business days of prescribing, the pharmacist must notify the patient's primary care provider, PCP, or other healthcare provider, if applicable. Notification may be done via electronic transmission, telephone, written communication. If the patient has no provider, this notification must be given directly to the patient. This is critical for maintaining integrated care and communication, a cornerstone of good healthcare. Patient record requirements. The pharmacy must maintain a prescription notification record that includes prescribing pharmacist's name, pharmacy name and phone number, patient's full name and date of birth, drug or device prescribed, quantity dispensed if applicable, directions for use, refill information, identity of the PCP if known. These records must be kept for at least 5 years and be immediately retrievable in either written or electronic format. In summary, pharmacist prescribing in Utah represents an exciting opportunity to enhance access, convenience, and public health outcomes, especially in preventive care and harm reduction. But with this privilege comes a high level of clinical responsibility and documentation. Every prescription must be backed by evidence, assessed carefully, and followed with a robust care plan and notification system. Thanks for joining me in today's deep dive into pharmacist prescribing authority. Thanks for watching Pharmacy Review. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all things pharmacy. Got questions or suggestions? Drop them in the comments below. Until next time, take care and keep thriving in your pharmacy journey.